is Mr. Grayson one more time here in our Johns Hopkins Middle School Media Boot Camp. I'd like to thank all of our hosts here. We want to interview Ms. Tammy from the school district. She's going to talk about food, nutrition, and the importance of clean water and things that are important for our well-being. Today we have Nation Cooper going to start things out, interviewing Ms. Ayed. But first, I'm going to give her the opportunity to talk about some of the things that she specializes in that will really help us grow physically and make us more healthy. Good morning, Ms. Ayed. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning. I'm so happy and thrilled to be here. Any chance I get to talk about our school garden initiative makes it a good day.
So, absolutely. What is the school garden initiative? Tell us a little bit about that.
So Pinellas County School District's Food and Nutrition Department received a farm to school grant from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services about 4 years ago. And then we have annually been able to receive annual supplemental grants to continue supporting this program. And the Food and Nutrition Department, obviously, our whole purpose is food, nutrition, feeding kids, but also we recognize the importance of teaching students where their food comes from. It's not the cafeteria line, although that's a good place to pick it up. It's not the drive-through fast food restaurants, but it comes from the earth. And so this program teaches scholars how to grow a garden, how to be self-sustaining, how they can take this and do this at home themselves, and also teaches by default good nutrition. There's nothing better than eating a fresh tomato right from the garden. So we do encourage all the school gardens. We started with 14, and that was a little less than 4 years ago. We are up to 47 gardens, and we have 6 new gardens that are supposed to become established in the 21-22 school year. So we're really excited about that. We will be over the 50 mark. And we bring the food into the cafeteria so that the entire school then gets an opportunity to try the food that has been grown. And many of them don't even know sometimes that there is a school garden in the back of their school. So it's just a good way to bring that garden to cafeteria experience right to all of our scholars across the district.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ayed. I'm Nation Cooper, and today I'm going to be asking, what is the importance of gardening? I'm already kind of aware since my grandmother has made me a green thumb, but can you please explain more out to a wider audience of what it is? So
gardening really, basically it teaches life cycle, right? And we learn that we can nourish ourselves from the ground up, and that our nutrients can come from well-developed and clean soil. And Mr. Grayson spoke earlier about clean water. All of this is very important. That's why, environmental concerns are tied right into any type of garden system, whether it be school garden, community garden, large farms, or anything. So it's important that we understand how it all works together.
Thank you so much for that amazing answer. Now I'm going to be passing it to Gloria Previs.
Good morning. And I was not aware that we have a garden in our school. And I think that's why I would like to ask you, why is it important to eat fruits and veggies?
Oh, well, now we're talking nutrition. I'm a nutrition education specialist with the Food and Nutrition Department. And yes, it's so important because isn't that where we get all of our pure whole foods are from our plant materials, our plant life. And those are the things that nourish our body most purely and well. Now, any type of clean eating, like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, organic meats, with all the visible fat trimmed off of them, all of these things are important for our overall health and well-being. But we can grow at least part of what we need to be fully nourished.
Thank you. My question is, at the beginning of COVID pandemic, school set up a distribution point that for scholars and families to get food donation. Why was that important?
Um, it was vitally important, particularly at that time because there were so many business closures and people that found themselves out of work and maybe unable to provide for their families in the same fashion that they were able to before. So we just wanted to make sure that our scholars, all the people in our community, we're getting the nourishment that they needed during those months. Now, we have continued that program. It will end at the end of this month. So there is still food available weekly at 12 of our school sites. And the food pantries across the entire Tampa Bay area and the community centers are still providing additional nutrition for families that need that at this time or at any time.
And thank you. Are many schools still participating?
Yeah, well, we still have 12 sites, just school sites, but we also partner with Tampa Bay Network to End Hunger, Feeding Tampa Bay, No Kids Hungry, Share Our Strength. So there are a lot of other community sites besides the 12 school sites that are available to pick up weekly food packages.
And then my last question is, where do the food donations come from?
So the food is typically not donated. The Food and Nutrition Department provides the meals. Now, I will say that a lot of our gardens during the growing season, we did utilize a lot of our produce in that way. We would bag it up for the families. Gibbs High School, for instance, has created a food pantry out of this pandemic and out of food distribution, and they regularly, between their garden at Gibbs and the Boyd Hill Community Garden, were bagging up a lot of really nice fresh produce to give with the weekly food packages.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my question is, why do you think it is very fun to grow fruits and vegetables in a garden, not just for nutrition, but for entertainment?
Well, yeah, what a great hobby. And you get your hands dirty, right? It's a good excuse. So, yeah, and there's nothing really like getting in touch with the earth and putting your hands in the soil. Maybe that doesn't sound great to everybody, but you get to watch things grow from seed and become beautiful flowers and fruits and food and seeds. So I think it's a wonderful hobby for anybody of all ages.
Okay, now on to Gleb.
Okay, hello, this is me and Gleb.
Hi.
I wanted to ask, is there any way that students can help during this pandemic to grow food so that we may distribute it together?
So at your individual school sites, yes. Now, I will say that right now, during the summer months, most of the gardens have been closed up, and that's mainly because Florida's growing season is opposite from most of the rest of the country. They're growing this time of year, and we're dormant this time of year. But we get to grow all winter long during a normal school year, which makes it perfect for scholars to be able to participate in that. So right now, there might be some gardens that might be growing some black-eyed peas or some sweet potatoes, but they're probably not ready for harvest. Come next school year, I would find out at your particular school, is there a garden on site? Who is taking care of it? Is there a garden club? Many of our schools that have gardens have garden clubs, and just get involved that way. As far as that. Now, there's also community gardens all over the Tampa Bay area. So you can also maybe with your family volunteer your time to work at a community garden. They always are looking for people to help. There's lots of weeding to do in a garden.
Okay, thank you. I'm never going to run out of things to do now. I'm going to pass it back to Nashawn so that he may promote further this conversation.
All right, thank you.
Hello, I'm Nishan, and I'm back. My question for you now is, what are the activities to put in place to promote the healthy eating in the schools? What are the things that you have to do, the initiatives?
That's a good question. So through the school food and nutrition department, we try to promote we'll just call it the school lunch program, which is a national program. School lunch, school breakfast, that's national. It is supported by the United States Department of Agriculture, and it is within those guidelines that we create and serve our menus. So in general, the food that is served in the cafeteria will be a little healthier. There's no fried foods. It's lower in sodium, lower in fat, whole grains, lean meats, and light dairy, which is basically what the Dietary Guide for Americans do recommend for all Americans to maintain healthy weights. And it all ties together, body, mind, and spirit, right? So healthy bodies create healthy minds.
And I'm aware completely about the guidelines and what you want to do, but how are you going to get these kids to really act on it? Speaking as we are children and we are, well, some of us are picky eaters. How are you going to make these dishes favorites and something that looks appetizing and something that a kid would want to pick up and actually start eating?
Well, and that's where the school garden initiative has really been beneficial for the schools that have it, because we are bringing in different fresh produce into the cafeteria. We're doing taste testing so that the kids can try some different products now, or different produce. Granted, not all kids, all students are going to want to try a Brussels sprout, but we give it our best shot as far as encouraging students to try different foods. You need to develop your palate. You can't eat chicken nuggets all the time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And you made that answer so entertaining. So now I'm going to pass it to Gloria Previs for her question.
Okay, thanks.
So my name is Gloria Previs, and my question is, do you think our generation should garden more? Because I noticed that other generations before us, they gardened a lot more. They had farms, while now we kind of like just sit at home and don't spend time outside.
Oh my gosh. So Gloria, that is exactly why you need to get outside and get your hands dirty, right? Because just to get outside and get some fresh air, we all should get at least 15 minutes of sunlight a day. That's good vitamin D. But yes, working in a garden would, I think that we have been seeing a movement, I would say, particularly over the last 5 to 10 years, a greater farm to school, farm to table movement. And more people are becoming interested in urban agriculture. There are places around the country, different cities that are using the medians in the road to actually plant vegetables, which gives the neighborhood a beautiful look, but also they're planting vegetables that then they can give to the community. So there's so many different ways to get outside. Yes, we have to grow food. This is something that can't just go away. We don't want to make our food in factories.
Thank you so much. That was a really good answer.
Okay. So how many schools are promoting the community gardens in Pinellas County?
So we have 47 school gardens right now and 6 more coming on board. That's quite a few out of 124 school sites. We're getting pretty darn close to, half of our school sites having a garden opportunity. I will also tell you that there is a lot of gardens out there, small, one little bed gardens outside of teachers' classrooms, in some of the elementary schools where you can go out, they have the little back doors out of their classrooms. A lot of teachers have set up their own garden beds there. So there is a lot of gardening going on that we don't even know about, which is not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
Thank you so much for answering all our questions today. I think we can wrap it up from here. You did such an amazing job.
Yes, you did, Ms. Ayed. Thank you so much. I know your time is very valuable, and thank you for taking the time out to work with us on this. It's funny, as I listen to the conversation, I realize it's all cycles. We're going back to nature.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad to see the district is doing it at that scale, because you guys feed a lot of people every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
We even put Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to tell you, as far as the district support, we even put a garden in this past spring at the administration building. And they're using that now they're growing vegetables there. People are gardening on their lunch hours, and then they're using that produce for the community. So it's a pretty amazing program. It is growing in leaps and bounds. I don't see it resting this time. I think it's going to keep on going. So, but it's up to our scholars to keep it going.
It's good to see you guys are leading by example. Well, listen, that's all the time we have. Thank you so much taking time to talk with us, and really have encouraged our journalists to think nutritionally and herb conscious, and I know it's going to make a difference. Thank you guys. You did an awesome job as journalists, and we hope that you continue to grow. Tomorrow we're going to be continuing with our our podcast at our boot camp, and we're going to have someone else we're going to interview. So, good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was a true honor. You guys did a great job.
Have a good day.
You too.